Lujuron. Welcome to the CEO chat on Asterisk TV, where we have a one-on-one conversation with individuals in the business and management world to know how they've been able to thrive in their enterprise and also get facts that can only inspire and motivate our viewers. And today, our guest is Mr. Femi Austin. Fortunately for me, is my is my uncle. I'm so excited about that. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Capitis, lead partner of Femaus Advisory and Consulting Limited. Right now, we will go to his profile because it's so much. So now, let's check out his profile. Femi Austin is currently the Chief Operating Officer of Capitis and a lead partner of Femaus Advisory and Consulting Limited. He has over 20 years experience ranging from business development, IT consulting in banking. He is a certified enterprise risk manager and a certified expert in microfinance from the Frankfurt Business School. He is a World Bank and Bank of Asia certified microfinance trainer and a certified expert in microfinance. Femi Austin is a consultant and facilitator to organizations including Institute for Fraud Management and Control IFMC, DataBrains, Marquis Funds, Trinity International Services Limited, and more. His consulting competence covers managing retail businesses, risk management, product and policy development, business setups, farming, business transformation, policy, finance, strategy, training, and IT. Welcome back. So I just want to know something. Is it that you just woke up one morning and told yourself, I want to go into business administration. I want to be a risk manager. I mean, how did it happen? I really want to know, how it happened from the start.
Wow. Okay. It doesn't just happen that way. Well, I think I'll let it back to my background and things that I have done in the past. I was born into, a family that has a blend of both business and the white collar job thing. But really growing up in my teens, I think I do assist in doing some sales and the rest of it. And looking at it, it's not just all about going to school, being an accountant and the rest of it. So if you have gone to school, you are an accountant, apparently somebody is going to employ you to do what? Deal with the figures. And at some point, it's still about business. So every other thing that you do, it evolves. And it also revolves around business. Because whatever you are doing, it's either a non-profit or for profit. So if it's for profit, you have to do business. And you're a pharmacist, you are still doing business. You're a medical doctor, you've set up a clinic. It's still about business. So you need people that will need to come out and tell people, educate people on what to do and how to do business, just so everyone can do business well. And business is not just business. Business is for profit. Even when you say it's not for profit, there is a part that speaks to sustainability. If there's no sustainability, even a non-profit will go down. And if there's no funding, it's a big deal. So I just knew at the end of it all, I have to do something. So it has to be related to business. So why go far when I know that at the bottom line it's going to be business? So my first option in the academic space was business administration. From there I had to do accounting. from accounting to computer science. And if you look at the relationship, business administration, okay, just know how it's being done. And talk about the figures. And of course, in the world that we are in now, if you don't have a background in the computer world, you are not going anywhere. So I just decided to use my time then at that age to put everything together, and grateful to God, it's happening in a way now.
So with what you just said, if you are in your gettings, understand the trend of the day, because if you had just gone for business administration without understanding the trend of the day, like in the aspect of computer, in the IT world and all like that, I think you might have probably lagged behind. Or am I correct about that?
Well, not totally right. Okay, you also can't do business or any profession without having people that actually call your mentor. Well, some are not proponents, but I think I believe in coaching, mentorship, and even in motivationals. So, because these are the things that you are going to put all together. So, if I hadn't done anything that had to do with computer science, I would still have, because now you use what you have to get what you want. I'm not sure if Dangote went to do anything that has to do with computer science, but he knows what he wants. He knows what is trending. You pay to have it. The only thing is, I wouldn't need to pay to have it. Possibly I would have been able to cut some cost, but that's also not cutting of cost in some cases too. Some things that you can't do yourself, outsource it, which is also part of the reasons why a lot of businesses fail, because we don't want to outsource. And you know, this health insecurity kills a lot of businesses. You don't want people to have an idea of what you do. The space is wide, 200 million people in the country. What are you hiding? But have your cutting edge. So without computer science, I would still have done this.
Well, this will bring me to this question. Before the question, let me cite an example. There are so many people out there who invest so much in the business, and at the end of the day, they are not able to get the returns that they desire, their desired returns, and they begin to ask themselves, is it that I'm not destined to do business? Is it that I'm not this? Is it that, but I invested so much in this business? Why is it not just working out with all that I have done, sir?
Okay. This requires even more than a light smile. Possibly I would have laughed, but okay, straight to it. A good number of people go into business because they see other people doing business. Business is not for all comers. Okay, let's even narrow it down now. Let's not just call it business, entrepreneurship, and they give their all. And they can, if you want to be a businessman, an entrepreneur, do you have the energy and the sacrifice? People want to sleep. I tell people often, you want to be the next Dangote, you want to be the next Femi or Tedola. I mention all the names, even Zuckerberg. They don't sleep. They don't sleep. You are in Nigeria here, you're just on +1 on the horizon. Somebody else is on -2. Happy New Year. Australia, when you are doing Happy New Year, they're already 12 noon. So, but you know how to sleep and you want to be an entrepreneur. Whatever you are missing in terms of business, somebody else is picking it. So people will always allude it to destiny. It's not about destiny. What you're actually doing, do you have passion for it? That's very critical. Then beyond your passion, you want to be an entrepreneur. What you're actually doing is you are creating value and you are providing solution to people's problems. And if you don't want to call it problem, call it challenges. If you are selling either a product or a service, and if you are not providing solution to me, I'm not buying. Okay, I'll play back to when I was in Mina. Yeah, it was thriving then, fish farming. Oh, some were looking at, okay, he's a banker and he's also doing fish farming. Everybody also entered into it, but they don't know the secret. People don't want to learn. People don't want to go for training, and you want to venture into businesses. You know, when I started answering this question, I said, okay, you need mentors, you need coaches. So you just dabble into a business that you don't have an idea of. Come on, you are just bound to fail. In management, they will tell you if you fail to plan, that means you have planned to fail. So they just venture into it, and little wonder, you see somebody, because Mama Sikira is selling bread and some other things in front of her house, and they feel that they are comfortable. The next door neighbor too wants to sell bread. What do you know about bread? What are the components? Who's buying bread? And you don't also look at the economic power of your immediate market. So if all those things are not there, putting everything together that I've said, get it scattered and put it together professionally, they usually don't have a business plan. So if you don't have a business plan and you venture into a business, chances are very, very high that the person is going to fail. So those are just, let them stop alluding it to destiny. There is a place for destiny, but everyone can be an entrepreneur. So that's just the takeaway there.
And there are so many people who find it hard to get their business plan. They just want to dive into it and see it work out just immediately. But I want to ask this question: is it possible to have passion for something? I love this business, and I have the money for it, and yet that is not the line you're supposed to go into. I don't know if you.
I do, but just finding it difficult to resonate with. It is not the line. You have passion for it. You have money. Then employ people that can do it. Employ. You see, we have one major problem, particularly in this side of the world. It's Femi. Everything and the company has to revolve around Femi. It's wrong. Go back to the Zuckerberg. Go back to most other great men outside of this country. At the beginning, they had partners. And they all came together, and they also have people that they invited, some that fell, in the story of iPhone too. You heard about it. There were like 3 that came together, and some just felt, oh, it's all dream. If you are not a believer, let the person fall. Let the person go. Look for believers that believes in your dream. And there are people that believes in your dream, but they don't have the money. Let them be. A lot of banks that you see, you have a Tony Elumelu. Is it only Tony Elumelu's money that is in UBA?
No.
Is it only Jimovia's money that you have in Zenith? No, there are believers. I can't do it. I don't know about finance. These people know about it. I'm into properties. I'm into social other businesses, and I put it there. But a lot of us, we just want it to be, it's me and my family. And at the end of the day, you don't even have the financial muscle and every other thing. So where does it end? It starts and it fails. That's why a lot of businesses, they usually even fail in the very first year. Some manage to last up to 5 years. How many businesses actually stay up to 10 years? There are a lot of fundamentals that will not make it work. So it's not witchcraft. It's not about destiny. You have passion. You have the money. But it's now not what you think, it's what you can handle. Get the experts. Get consultants. Get business plans. And have projections. Be reminded there are other variables that are never on the books.
And there are some business owners that do not want to pay. I mean, they just feel like it's quite too expensive. How would I be able to? I mean, how would I give this person this kind of money? It's much. I mean, there are so many business owners out there who needs these people to be in their business, who need to employ these people, but they don't get the good ends because they are not ready to pay. So they cut corners by getting people that just know little knowledge about what. I don't know if you're getting what little knowledge about, and when they employ that person, they begin to complain.
Say pay peanuts, and what you get is monkeys. If you can't pay, then you are not ready, because you're actually not paying them for any other thing. You are paying them for the value addition that they are coming with, because by the time you are setting up, there are value propositions. If you don't get the best hands, then you are not going anywhere. If you want to get the mediocres, that's just what they are going to give to you. What they don't have, they can't give. So if you are also holding back, paying them, you rather even make them partners on different terms. There are different levels of partnership. There are different levels of involvement. I'm not going to give you more than 5% of the holding of this company because of what you have. You don't have money, but you have the capital intelligence. You have it. So that is also meant to be quantified and say, okay, we'll give you 5%. Run with it. But you want to own everything, you don't want to part with money. Who's going to do it for free? And like people say jokingly, even in Freetown, nothing is free again. So that's just it. You have to pay. If you can't pay, cut part of your shareholding and let them own a part. And that sense of belonging comes to play because they see it as theirs. Yes, it might be very, very minute, but it counts for something. Yeah.
Well, there are so many businesses that are crashing just because of the pandemic. Of course, we are getting out of it. Hopefully, we'll be done with it. Hopefully. There are so many businesses that are crashing, and it's not because they do not have business plan. It's not because they do not. Will you to be applied in this time, right? In businesses that are crashing already as a result of pandemic.
Okay, a very good one. Now we've had different scenarios, and do you know, even the pandemic on its own, beyond the lives that were lost, I'm so sorry about the lost souls. A lot of businesses have come to the point of realization that even your overhead that you were carrying ab initio, you never actually needed them. People work from home now. A lot of businesses, I must tell you, a lot of businesses actually even made more profit last year. Now people now know that you can actually run shifts. People work from morning till 12 midnight and nothing has changed. However, for every business model that you have, that's why you always have a plan A, B, and C. And you see, that goes back to strategy. The model you are running, the strategy you are running. I have a friend, a female friend, and said during the pandemic, I made a lot of money. I was almost hoping that it doesn't end. How do I mean? She knows how to cook very well. A lot of lazy women that doesn't know how to cook, they were ordering. And I also know of someone during the pandemic was supplying foodstuff to houses. How she got approval as essential worker and the rest of it, that was the best time of these people's lives. While it was a time for some to also go down. The finance space now, it's a bit challenging because businesses that need crowd, they couldn't thrive. By way of diversion too, a lot of logistic businesses sprang up during that period because you can't go out. They took delivery and they did every other thing. Before now, how many logistic companies do you have? Riders. Now you have you have a lot of them because people couldn't move and they could move because they were considered as part of the essential services providers. So now, what are the strategies that you have? What's your line of business? Now, unfortunately, we want to narrow this down to the Nigerian factor. If we want to take it globally, it would have been a different scenario because if there weren't anything about herdsmen and the rest of it, I would have said, irrespective of whatever that happens, people will eat. So you will find a way to ensure that you consume. People would have retired back to farming, but people can't even go to farm. Well, not part of the topic today, but I wonder what is going to happen in the country next year. Farmers can't go to farm. Prices of things are not just on the double, triple, and some even times 5, times 10. Yet, there hadn't been a commensurate increase in their wages or even in revenue for those that are doing businesses. So, pandemic came with its pluses and its woes. So, it now depends on the side of the coin where we find ourselves. But what's important is we must find a balance. Okay, tell me a business that has gone into total extinction because of this pandemic. People couldn't make money. People came up with cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of things. Fintech companies started thriving. You don't even need to go to a bank to take loan now on your phone.
Yes.
They don't need to see your face. These are some of the pluses, and we've actually been wallowing in surpluses and wastages. Of course, like I said, lives were lost, but that's a sorry case. But a lot of businesses now, people had to go back to their drawing board to come up with different strategies. Despite pandemic, everything is still going on. Not at the same pace, but the pace is now even better and faster. So we really can't say, apart from the lost lives, it has made people go back to think and think properly well. You don't just say, okay, you want to enter into this, you just want to go into social business. Now you think twice. What if I can't? What if this won't? Before now, we just feel if you have money, you can go into business. Now you need to think twice. Even to go into the farm, you have to think. So, and if you can't go to farm, you also can't produce. So it affects almost all facets, including government.
You just said something about farming, and you're into farming. I know that.
Okay.
So how has it been so far? How has it been?
Okay. I think I'll say it's been so good. And as against going into talking farming, I would rather advise people, irrespective of the small space you have at your backyard, do something. I might not be able to explain everything on this show, but people might need to go and learn things about, integrated farming and hydroponics, whereby you can actually have things planted using just water and soil, sacks, the back of your yard without messing anything up. You can plant tomatoes, you can plant pepper. As a matter of fact, you can plant yam in sack. So if you have sacks and you can do all this, you can do some small bed business at the back of your yard. And there are methods and techniques that you can actually rear beds, and they don't actually smell around. They don't give a false smell to the community. There are certain liquid that you can actually spray, and it doesn't affect the beds. So all this ingenuity, I'm sure COVID also brought out some of this. People will always tell you can't go to farm, you can't do this. A lot of people now farm their maize and the rest of it. So grinding also comes to play. So if you talk about farming, is it fish that you can't do? You can do even inside some sizable containers. And funny enough, if you want to go into tilapia doesn't even need any harsh condition. Just 400 tilapia in a container, they breed, unlike the catfish that will not breed. But a lot of people are looking at the side of catfish that takes 5-6 months. Apart from the Philippines, that takes like four months. That means you can actually have 3 cycles in a year. For the other species, you'll be running just 2 cycles in a year. But how many people have the Philippine species? So farming, like we said at the beginning of this, you also need some marginal training. People don't want to be trained, and they want to just go ahead and do those things. If your tomato that you're planting, if you have some things that are affecting it, what do you do? How do you treat them? How do you even till the ground? And you don't just go into it, otherwise you just mess your compound up and come back to it. And another thing is just snail. I think that's our new venture. Snail. It doesn't smell, it doesn't require anything. Even the wastages you have as your remnants, they hit them. The only thing is ensure that you don't have direct salt coming in contact with them. It's a season where everybody sees watermelon and everything around. They love it, they love purple leaves. Farming is just one thing that, if you want to discuss it, it's a whole day.
Yes.
So I encourage people to go into farming.
And I understand that you are also infusing your business heart, your business mind into your children. I mean, how have you been able to do it? I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Okay.
You're teaching them. I also understand that you're also teaching them how to do business. Yeah.
That's
as
okay.
little as they are.
Okay, business. Let me say it again. As little as their education, I've also turned it into business. You give me this, I give you that.
Hmm.
I mean, even in terms of the report you bring back home, it's a business. It's just to make them know that there's nothing that comes free. I'm paying your school fees. I also have an expectation. If you are doing business and you don't have expectation, it's a big deal. So, I have a couple of businesses that I do that I have also like put them into. I have dogs and values from the dogs. They have what comes to them. So I don't really need to tell them to take care of dogs, because if I parade up to like 9, 10 dogs in the house and you know that the dogs are for business, then you should see it as business. So is it fashion? Is it cake making? There are just too many lines, and each of the line of businesses are tied to them at different levels. So I don't need to bother myself. And for the male, I also think they are already open to digital marketing, and they are open to forex trading, and that is irrespective. I've already given them what to do, what to leverage on. They require training. There's nothing they are doing that they've not been trained on. So that training, very critical. So there are different line of businesses that I encourage them to do, because growing up, I knew about business. At some point, I lost it to white collar job, and I just faced it like there's no tomorrow. Like we are discussing, there could be a downtime even in that space. You always have something to fall back on. But of course, don't allow for distraction. Despite all this, I don't allow them to get distracted academically. There's always time for everything. Yeah.
I wish we can go on and on and on, but time won't let.
Yeah.
I really had an interesting time. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For coming over. Thank you so much for staying with us on the CEO Chat at Strike TV. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media handles. I remain Dayo Lujoro. Thank you and bye. Femi Austin is currently the Chief Operating Officer of Capitis and a lead partner of Femaus Advisory and Consulting Limited. He has over 20 years experience ranging from business development, IT consulting in banking. He is a certified enterprise risk manager and a certified expert in microfinance from the Frankfurt Business School. He is a World Bank and Bank of Asia certified microfinance trainer and a certified expert in microfinance. Femi Austin is a consultant and facilitator to organizations including Institute for Fraud Management and Control IFMC, DataBrains, Marquis Funds, Trinity International Services Limited, and more. His consulting competence covers managing retail businesses, risk management, product and policy development, business setups, farming, business transformation, policy, finance, strategy, training, and IT.